Is the WNBA Players Association for real? Is the WNBPA for real? Because whenever these women talk, at this point, I can't take anything seriously because whenever they speak, it's like you're dealing with people that have never taken any business classes, don't know anything about negotiation, don't understand leverage, and just talk to talk, basically. And we're going to talk about that right here on this edition of Her Game, Her Way, Women's Basketball, powered by Come On Now, the podcast, where we talk facts over feelings. I'm your host, Rudy Rodriguez. Show. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell, follow us on our social media accounts. Appreciate y'all jumping on board. Like, subscribe, and follow. But let's jump in on the topic, man. The WNBPA decided that they were going to authorize a strike. Now, somebody should have told them that in order to go on strike, you have to be, I don't know, walking away from work. I mean, that's typically what a strike is. That means that you're working and you stop working, right? Apparently, WNBA players think that going on strike can actually happen when you're not actually working, and also happen when 80% of you are actually unemployed. Yes, that is a key component to going on strike. That you are, I don't know, employed. Well, 80% of the players are currently free agents. The only ones that are under contract are those on rookie deals still. So anyone who's been drafted inside of the last 4 years, those players are under contract. And as you know in the WNBA, a lot of those players don't last, don't even make a team. So you probably only have maybe 30 or 40 players, if that, 30 players from your entire league that are under contracts from their rookie deals. And the rest of them are free agents. They don't have a job. Like they literally, that is the definition of not having a job. So the WNBPA decided in their infinite wisdom to vote on going on strike as this labor negotiation for this current CBA is in place, right? I mean, they think it makes sense. But man, these women are next level slow. Like I'm almost at the point where I make WNBA videos now to troll because that's what this is. This is a troll job. I feel like they're trolling me to get me to make a video about how dumb they truly are. This is insane. I mean, are you laughing at this shit yet? They think we care if they go on strike. It gives me content to talk about because I am not talking about them really all that much, if that, I mean, that much really. But they're currently in an extension, the second extension that they asked for. Like, remember, they were supposed to be locked out on October 31st. And here we are now, December 22nd, as I record this video, and they are now in their second extension. Remember their first extension? They put all types of parameters, and either side can end the extension with 48 hours notice or whatever the hell that crap was. Yeah, you knew no one was going to do that because this is a big old joke. Do you think they're really negotiating right now the week of Christmas? I mean, seriously, are they really negotiating the week of Christmas? We all know these negotiations are one large farce. It's really the WNBA negotiating against itself, making proposals, and then the WNBPA just coming back with their same demands because the actual art of negotiation and compromise doesn't actually exist here. But they are currently in their second extension, which is due to expire on January 9th of 2026. for which at that point they would be locked out unless again they begged for another extension of this absolute joke of a freaking CBA negotiation. You got the leadership of your players association who are all completely compromised in themselves and their outside endeavors with Breonna Stewart and Nafisa Collier dealing with Unrivaled. Nneka Ogwumike is now the shill for Project B. They all are compromised individuals with ulterior motives. While there's a certain group of players right now who probably made $60,000, $70,000 a year last year, and guess what? Have the chance to quadruple their salaries while these other players decide their fate. So I can make $250,000 a year in really in 4.5 months when I was making 60 or 70 grand. And now um, I can't do that because you won't agree to this number. I mean, they've been given a 400% pay increase offer. But this is what the WNBPA had to say. You probably heard it by now. The players have spoken. Through a decisive vote with historic participation, our membership has authorized the WNBPA's executive committee to call a strike when necessary. Now, who's on the executive committee? Three of those members I just mentioned: Breonna Stewart, Nafisa Collier, and Nneka Ogwumike. All players with conflicts of interest. The players' decision is an unavoidable response to the state of negotiations with the WNBA and its teams. You mean the offers that give you a 400% increase in pay? That that state of negotiations? Wow. Time and again, the players' thoughtful and reasonable approach has been met by the WNBA and its teams with a resistance to change and a recommitment to the draconian provisions that have unfairly restricted players for nearly 3 decades. So getting a 400% pay increase is draconian. Yeah, it doesn't happen. It don't happen. Go to any job on the face of the earth. No one's getting a 400% pay increase anywhere. The players' vote is neither a call for an immediate strike nor an intention to pursue one. Then what the freaking hell are you voting for one for? Like, how silly is that? You sound dumb. You're voting for something that you're not going to do. Huh? Well, then why vote for it? Maybe that's something you should have voted for, I don't know, in July of last year. And then, I don't know, gone on strike before the playoffs. Might have been a good idea. It's when you actually had leverage. It's when you had something in your hand, i.e., a work stoppage. But in this case, a lockout is not a work stoppage. A strike for y'all is not a work stoppage because none of y'all are actually working. And 80% of y'all aren't even employed right now. Rather, it is an emphatic affirmation of the players' confidence in their leadership and their unwavering solidarity against ongoing efforts to divide, conquer, and undervalue them. Let it be known the players remain united, resolute, and prepared to fight for their value and their future. I love this line. Rather, it is an emphatic affirmation of the players' confidence in their leadership. You mean the players that are have conflicts of interest? This sounds like the three people that have the biggest conflicts of interest are pushing for this strike vote. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. So the WNBA issued a response to this ridiculous nonsense. And they said, we are aware that the players have voted to authorize the WNBPA executive committee to call a strike if the executive committee decides to take that step in the future. While we acknowledge the players' right to authorize a full work stoppage, we strongly disagree with the WNBPA's characterization of the current state of negotiations, which fundamentally misrepresents the ongoing discussions taking place at the bargaining table. It is difficult to understand claims that the league is resistant to change, particularly given that we are proposing numerous CBA modifications, including significant immediate salary increases and a new uncapped revenue sharing model that would ensure continued salary growth tied to revenue growth. The league remains steadfast in its commitment to reaching an agreement as soon as possible and delivering a 30th season for the players, fans, teams, and partners. We have negotiated in good faith and with urgency and remain focused on finalizing a new collective bargaining agreement that not only meaningfully enhances player pay, benefits, and experience, but also does so in a way that ensures the long term growth of the game and the league's capacity to serve the next generation of WNBA players. Now, what does that mean? I mean, this is just some information, but there has been movement since Kelsey Plum said they're far apart. It's a little disheartening. That's to the USA training camp. Now, the league made a proposal at the beginning of the month offering significant pay, including a max salary of over $1 million, an average salary of above 500,000, and minimum of above 225. The league's offer also included a revenue sharing mechanism, though it's unclear exactly how that would work. At the same time, the league also proposed starting training camp in mid-March and eliminating housing benefits, neither of which pleased the players. Sorry, ladies, if you get a 400% pay increase, I'm not paying for your goddamn rental apartment. Like, that's not how this shit works. In no job do you get your housing paid for outside of being in the military. It doesn't happen. Not when you're making $500,000 a year. Sorry, no sorry, no thanks. We will remove that. No question about it. But they're not removing it from everybody, though. That's the whole thing. And that was the one area that I mentioned was that I think if you remove that housing benefit, I think it should be removed from players under full contract. But for players that are coming in a 7-day deal or whatever, yeah, they should provide them housing. Give them a hotel room for a week, for 2 weeks, for a month, whatever it is. They're not on a full contract. But if you're on a full contract, that means you're going to make $250,000 a year or for 4.5 months. So God forbid you rent an apartment for a 1-year lease or even a 4-month lease. Guess what? You're going to be in a much better situation now than you were before we had your new salary. Like, this is craziness. So I'm sorry. I'm not going to pay for your house to live in. That's stupid. And no job does that. But they think they should get that. But at the end of the day, they're ignoring the fact that the players that should get that are number one, rookies who may not make the team. And then two, players that are in short-term deals that are coming for 7-day deals or whatever those deals they got going on in the WNBA. Players that are not under full contract. If you are under a full WNBA contract, you don't get no damn housing. Are you crazy? You're not happy. Of course they're not happy about it because they're having real life happen to them. You pay for your house. Does Aaron Judge do the Yankees pay for Aaron Judge's condo or his house? Do the Lakers pay for LeBron's house? No. Do the Warriors pay for Steph's house? No. This is craziness. Now, mid-March, I don't really have much issue with that because the reality is it really is all about when you start your season because the college season ends first weekend or so, or second weekend of April. And then you jump into the draft. You're not going to start the draft. See, the draft isn't going to happen prior to college basketball ending because they still got it. They're still in their season. And the fact of the matter is there's only going to be a handful of players that are impacted by moving the start of training camp up. There's only a few players, a handful, because most players will be done with their seasons before the end of March. Before the end of March. Heck, you could draft players if you really wanted to in the month of March, because at that point, you know who the hell you're drafting. And they can just run right after that and get to their training camps. That's perfectly fine with me. I have no issues with that. I have zero. Oh, they're not going to have had a break. Who cares, man? This is basketball. They're 22 years old. You tired at 22? You play basketball for a living. Like, stop it. So the WNBPA countered with an offer that would see players earn roughly 30% of the total league and team revenue, which is outrageous. I would never give them that. Never in a million years would I give them that. Under the WNBA's latest offer, their players will receive less than 15%. Additionally, the WNBPA proposed mandating teams to carry 12 players at all times. Some only rostered 11 to save money and the creation of 2 development players. So I got no issues with that. Like those types of things, 12 players. Hell, I think it should be 15. And the developmental player, I got no issue with that either. I have no issue with that either. But this ridiculousness of you want 30% when you're making, I think they're getting 9 right now, of which they have to meet a metric to get it. I'm not 100% sure about that, but they're offering you 15. You weren't getting 15 before. Like, Your league still hasn't produced profit ever. You still haven't produced a single dime of profit. Them selling franchises is not profit for the league. It's a recoup of loss. And they're striking while the iron's hot because Caitlin Clark showed up. So you're still pending these two expansion, drafts, these two expansion team drafts. Um, this stuff at the end of the day, like it is, it's like, I mean, trying to quantify how unbelievably dumb these players are, and apparently 98% of the players who voted yes to go on strike, with 93% participation among players. From my conversation with Ben Daniel, he basically calculated that 3 players who voted no. Um, Again, you're voting to go on strike, but you're not going to go on strike because you're not really going on strike. Someone should explain to them what strike actually means. It means you stop working. They're not working. They're not working. Going on strike would have been doing that crap in July or before the playoffs began. And this is what the crap that's being said by Breanna Stewart here, saying they're heading toward a standoff because what we're doing right now isn't really working. She even invited NBA Commissioner Adam Silver to the negotiating table one day after Silver said he'd be willing to join talks in hopes of getting a deal done to avoid a lockout or a strike. We're the ones that are willing to compromise, and they still aren't budging. Well, what are you talking about? So a 400% salary increase is not budging? Wow, we got a real big definition issue of what budging is when I'm offering you a 4x pay increase. Like, this is really what she's saying. They're not budging, offering 4x pay increases. Are you fucking stupid? Like, are you fucking stupid? Because that's what a stupid person says. I understand mathematics. And if I make $100 an hour right now and they're going to give me 400 an hour, that is a hell of a not budging component. You know what I mean? Holy Lord. If they're not going to budge, we're going to get to this point where we're just going to be at a standoff. That's kind of where we're at right now, which means they're not negotiating. We know how important as players it is to play and to be on the court, but at the same time, if we're not going to be valued the way we know we should be, in the way that every kind of number situation tells us that we're just not going to do something that doesn't make sense, then don't do it. Sweetheart Breanna Stewart, disappear. We will not miss you. We can eliminate all WNBA coverage. It'll make our lives so much easier, not having to deal with the toxicity of what is the WNBA. It is the most toxic sport I have ever watched in my life. And I've watched every freaking sport. I've watched women's tennis, women's golf, women's track and field, women's volleyball, women's soccer. There is no more toxic a sport than women's basketball, specifically the WNBA, not women's college ball, but the WNBA is nothing but toxic bullcrap. And as we talked about tonight on Sunday Night Heat, I was very, very, very specific about what's going on in this situation right now, for which the players that make bread are going to start losing money, because those are the players that are actually going to suffer from a lockout or a work stoppage, because they make a lot of their bread off the court. And Caitlin Clark, for example, every time she speaks, she kind of digs herself a little bit more of a hole with her own fan base. I'm being real, and we said it on the live tonight on Sunday Night Heat. And for people that didn't understand it, it's if you keep saying things that your main core demographic fan base doesn't like, you're gonna lose these people. And she has lost some of these people. I can tell you that without a doubt. My data on my analytics for my videos on WNBA and Caitlin Clark, I am telling you right now, her fan base is largely 45 and up, white, middle America, period. Conservative, white, middle America, Midwest primarily, in fact. And those people don't like some of the shit that she says because it's almost like she's saying it to get along because she doesn't like being disliked by her contemporaries and colleagues who are so ungodly jealous of her and what she has achieved that they are now using her as their vehicle to demand more money and say, oh, we did all this. No, you didn't. She did it. She did it. But there's only one of her. And if you cannot replicate her times 10, the WNBA will never move forward. She can't carry the league by herself, especially not if she's only averaging 18-8 or 19-10 or something like that. Not producing what we would consider the numbers that we expected after her first season. Like if she's a 17-8 player, she's just another WNBA player. And her shining star at some point will begin to fade. And then what will happen to your league? People will stop watching it. People have already stopped watching it. People are turned off with the WNBA fatigue. Like listening to grown women sit here and tell us that, oh, they're not budging while offering them a 400% pay increase. You are high out of your ever loving minds. And when they do stuff like this and say they're going to go on strike and they don't even know what the meaning of a strike is, like this is what they're telling you. We don't know what a strike is. So we'll just vote for a strike that we're never going to go on. So are you going to wait? Number one, you're going to get locked out. So are you going to go on strike on January 7th? No, because you're still not working to begin with, and 80% of y'all are unemployed. Like, it is unreal. It is unreal. If they get locked out and they don't have a 2026 season, people will not even notice. Seriously. People will not notice. Caitlin Clark was part of my regularly scheduled programming in the WNBA in her rookie season. And then she got hurt in her second season. I watched every single game she played her rookie season. I watched other teams play because of her in her rookie season. I did not watch anywhere near the amount of women's basketball that I watched the year before. And watching Indiana Fever basketball was utterly troublesome for me and very, very difficult because I have said time and time again, I am not watching WNBA ball for the players. I'm watching them for Caitlin Clark because she's the only player that for me is worth watching. And if she ain't playing, I will not be watching at all. At all. You've noticed the shift in the channel of mine. And I mean, I'm sorry for those people who supported me, with the WNBA and all that stuff. And you supported Caitlin Clark. And if Caitlin Clark does stuff, I will be here. I will be rocking with it, man. No question about it. Abso-freaking-lutely. But I'm not going to be sitting here lying to myself about I'm going to watch this dog shit fucking product again if she's not playing. I promise you, I will not. I will not subject myself, waste my energy. I will focus 1000% on the Yankees and growing the Yankees component of my channel because that's the direction that I want to go in during that time of year. But I didn't yet do that this season because of Caitlin Clark. But I mean, if they don't have a season, oh, you know what I'll be doing. Or if she's not playing or she's hurt, guess what I'll be doing? I'll be watching Yankees baseball. I'll watch Yankees baseball regardless, but I'll be covering Yankees baseball like very, very closely, where it's going to be video after video after video of Yankees baseball. The same way I'm doing with the Miami Hurricanes during the football season, and we'll continue to do in the basketball season once I'm even a little bit behind there, but and then I'm trying to do with the Miami Heat and so forth, but they've been a little bit difficult to deal with now of late on top of that. But look, this is what it is. But they don't even know what a strike is. These people are stupid. Like, they're just dumb. It's mind-blowing how dumb this group is. Let's go on strike in the off season. Make it make sense. Y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Ring the bell. This is Her Game, Her Way Women's Basketball, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.